Hey everyone, it is the build-up show. Liverpool, Chelsea, FA Cup final.
That is very much not my Twitter handle.
What?
That.
Chris Pajak.
And there's a space in there.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Should be for the branding. But there you go. Yeah, please don't send the view. In fact, if you're going to send the views to Chris, please do feel free to send it to at Chris Pajak.
Some fella just getting levered.
Sound, yeah. And as we were preparing to go live, the big question was not like what Liverpool are going to do, how they're going to line up. It was Chris postulating, what are EA? Hey, well done, that Mr.
Hey,
what are EA doing? Losing the rights to FIFA, and are they having a multi-arcing title plan to call everything EA Sports? ...
And then we had a conversation about how me and you are wearing completely different t-shirts.
Two completely different designs. I mean, there's no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let me edge over closer to you, Steve.
Yeah. They're different, aren't they? I've got half a trainee, you've got full. Yeah. That kind of sums up our lives, really. Yeah. You're complete and I'm still on the journey.
Threads for Reds. Thank you
Sliced
so
in half.
Thank you so much for Threads for Reds for providing us with some brand new teas ahead of course, the Champions League final. But the Champions League final is still a couple of weeks away. We've got another final to contend with first. It is the FA Cup final. It is Chelsea. It is Liverpool. It is at Wembley. Here we are, Chris Pajak. We've been talking for ages, you know, the quad this, the quad that. The Premier League is what it is. We can compartmentalise that. We can park that for a few days. Liverpool, if they want to take the steps towards immortality, then this is it now. No more talk. It's a game. There's a game to be won, and if Liverpool want to do more than just have the Carabao Cup, which would be sound, it's the FA Cup final.
Yeah, and they've got to turn up, man. We know how tough the games have been against Chelsea this season. We've drawn 3 of them, basically, haven't we? Yeah. You know, I remember going to the Super Cup with you a couple of years ago and drawing that game and beating them out on penalties. I remember 1992, 93 when Arsenal beat Sheffield Wednesday in both cup finals. Mm-hmm. It's the first time since then that 2 teams have contested both domestic cup finals as well. Let's hope that Liverpool can do what Arsenal did to Sheffield Wednesday back in the day and take both of them off them.
Nobody's ever wanted to be Arsenal so much, but also everyone's happy to not be Sheffield Wednesday at the same token as well. This is it, Steve, and it is. I'll be honest, it is hard to get super like hyper enthused about this even just a couple of days out. I'm sure that'll build more and more as we get closer and closer, because look, 3 of us are sat here in Champions League t-shirts, and that's only because the Wembley stuff didn't arrive in time. But but moreover, you know, that is a focus, and there is a little bit of like, we have had our mood undercut a bit by City just being so goal ravenous in the league. But look, it's just an opportunity for us to go and win a trophy. It's a nice to have a one-off game that we can kind of uncouple from everything else that's going on around it.
Exactly. You don't need someone else to do you a favour to win this one. You can just win the game and it's yours. So you're right to reference that. And like I say, it's Chelsea's biggest game now, isn't it? Because it's very unlikely they fall out of the top 4. I don't even know if they can anymore after the win against Leeds last night. So yeah, it's their biggest game. It isn't ours, but we need to treat it as such. Like you say, everything else will take care of itself when we get to it. Southampton will take care of itself. Villa against City will take care of itself. West Ham, all that kind of stuff. Doesn't matter now. Just go and beat Chelsea in a cup final. And Chris is right to reference the games between these 2 sides over the last couple of seasons, especially since Thomas Tuchel got there, have been very, very close. Mm-hmm. A goalie missing a penalty away from them winning the cup. We've had the Super Cup, like you mentioned earlier, that was under Lampard, but that goes to penalties as well. The 2 league games this season, and I think playing against better teams suits Tuchel a bit more, because it allows him to be a bit more defensive. And I think he knows he has to be, because I don't think he trusts his defenders completely. Mm-hmm. There's a reason they play back 3. It's because they don't trust any of them to play as a 2. Because when they have played as a 2 at times, they've looked miles off it. So that, I think it suits him in that they know we don't have to have 60-70% of the ball. The other team aren't sitting back, Liverpool are coming at us, and I think that kind of plays into what he wants, to be honest. And I think most teams go through that as well, where they're all right defending in numbers and hitting teams on the counter-attack, but when you're asked to dominate every single game, take 60-70% of the possession and break teams down, that's the difficult thing. That's making the jump from the pack to the leaders, and that's why it's so hard to bridge that gap consistently.
No, I completely agree on that, and you're dead right. And look, the shades of like early days of Klopp under Liverpool, it's easy to kind of engineer one-off wins, and it's easier for Tuchel and Chelsea because they've got fantastic players. You know, I genuinely felt they had the best squad going into the season. I thought their squad was better than Man City's, and it was mainly because of the attacking depth. You know, they just had like just piles and piles of footballers they could just throw in. They go, oh, we're missing X, Y, and Z. All right, like the idea that like Callum Hudson-Odoi ended up as like some mad auxiliary wing back for them when a couple of years earlier he was talked as being like one of the hottest attacking
like
talents.
Sancho style.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Pulisic, he hasn't really ever kind of fully nailed down. He's had injury issues, of course, but you know they've got the
always looks good against us, though.
Hakim Ziyech as well. You know, has found his form a little bit in the back half of the season, but they've got tons and tons of these lads. So they've more than got the capability, and if you're then telling them, okay, well actually we're not going to use you in a go toe-to-toe kind of way, we're going to be resolute and we're going to hit on the counter-attack, then yeah, it absolutely doesn't be, and particularly because of how Liverpool play. Yeah. It goes back to, I was kind of alluding to, is us trying to catch up to Man City. We could go there and be the scrappy underdogs. You make yourself the scrappy underdogs. It falls a little on deaf ears when Chelsea are doing it, to be honest. I mean, we're talking about the reigning European champions still here. I don't think it's wrong to expect a bit more, but ultimately that's what Tuchel's doing while he's getting them ready for a title challenge. He's making them a cup side. Yeah, like I say, exactly what Rafa did with us.
European, same as us, essentially. Champions League finalists, League Cup finalists, FA Cup finalists. Yeah. It's the exact same. They've just done it in a little bit of a different order. They're constantly in finals. Now, they haven't had a great record in them domestically recently, but they're always there.
It's the third year on the bounce, they're in it.
They're always here.
The FA Cup, I think.
Yes, Arsenal beat them. Obviously, Leicester beat them. They've had League Cup defeats, obviously, early this season. Like I say, they're used to being in this situation. The difference is that they usually go in as the favourites. They didn't go into the Champions League final as a favourite, and that worked out for them in the end. Yeah. It suited the game, and it's the same here. I thought in that League Cup final, like I say, if Mason Mount could finish, they probably win. You know, they goalie and as a worldie, but Mason Mount, they free him 2 or 3 times.
And their game plan's going to be the same on
exactly.
Saturday.
It's the late runner from midfield, and you're right to reference all those narrow number 10s, or whatever you call them. Ziyech, Pulisic, Mount, whoever plays there, Werner, there's all of them. They into out run down the middle, and it does work. Lukaku was that much away from being onside as well, so they've got a plan to play against us. It sprung them last time a couple of times, like I say, on a different day they could score those goals. So Liverpool needs to be careful.
Yeah, and your hope is, of course, is that we're very good at learning from sort of mistakes and ills. And of course, I'll caveat this with the side that City put out in the FA Cup was different to the City side they put out in the league, Chris. But it felt like Liverpool had learned their lesson a little bit that time around, and look, having that League Cup final, it's going to be on the same pitch, it's going to be played in that same sort of environment, and I can't, as you're saying there, I can't see Chelsea trying to do anything significantly different in their approach. Your hope is put your faith in, Jurgen and Pep and
yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think either manager are changing their approaches. I think both will be, hoping for a similar type of game and just take their opportunities. Because that's what you're preaching in the dressing room before the game. Play exactly the same way. You did everything right. You just need to finish your dinner when it gets to the business end of the pitch. Liverpool will be saying that. Chelsea will obviously be saying that. I think the difference is, I think it's easier when you go into a cup final to be a counter-attacking manager. Yeah. Because I just think that you're risking less. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's quite easy to do that in boxing even as well. If you're a counter striker, it's different to try and force the pace of the game, force the pace of a round or whatever if you are carrying on with the boxing thing, because you're always there focusing on what you're doing and the other team's waiting for you to do what you're doing, and then they're going to pounce. So Liverpool have got to be incredibly focused and patient as well, and it's how we pin them back in, and that's where the Fabinho miss is the big miss for me, if he is going to miss this game, which looks likely, is him setting the edge almost of where they can go out to. I think that it's probably if anything's going to change, that's the concern for me.
What Liverpool will be hoping for really is a replication of what they did in that semi-final, of take the nerves away by scoring early. Because and it's not going to be, Chelsea are not going to play the same. It's not going to be the same type of game. And I am let's be honest, they're the second hardest team we could have had in this, and there's an argument that they might be the hardest because we've shown we can beat City, whereas we haven't shown we can beat Chelsea yet. But it's going to be fascinating to see how we do approach that first 20-25 minutes. Is it a cagey affair? I can't imagine. It feels like it's going to be that NBA Jam style. We're going to try and lob it in behind you. You're going to try and lob it in behind us. And if someone crumbles and breaks, can someone run? Can one team run a score up or not? I mean, fingers crossed, because that the semi-finals, it was beyond our expectations how Liverpool started that game. I would greatly appreciate if we could do something similar this time. But the expectation is there's been nothing between these two teams in individual matches. There's a chasm between them in the league, but on individual matches, I think we probably need to prepare for this being an absolute slog.
Yeah, if you don't learn from history, what was the point of going through it in the first place? Like, everything about this game tells you it should be a very, very close game. Like, coming up to 80 minutes and neither side is guaranteed anything. That's how it feels. It feels like if anyone could do it to us, I'm not sure they could. I mean, maybe, but I don't think they could completely blow us away. I touch wood as I say that, but yeah, the flip side on that is a bright start's fine, but in recent weeks we've been the exact opposite.
Yeah,
if they get an early goal, then their game plan is even they're staunch in their defence. I think of that when Reece James got sent off at Anfield, they were amazing in terms of organisation, and you could see them doing that again if they got Villa go early against us, Villarreal do it. So we need to be switched on from the few. Mason Mount in that final, he has a very early chance as well that he could score. So it's all well and good saying, we need to be frontful, go and get at them, but we just need to make sure we're switched on, like awake first.
The problem for me is that it's 2-0 is the scoreline we need for them to change their game plan.
Yeah,
like you can be hit on a counter attack with the players they've got, and they can finish their chances. That can happen at any point. That can happen. They're not going to change at 1-0. To make them change their game plan, you need to get 2 goals up, and that's when I think it either goes one way or the other. If they start then playing expressive football, trying to put the foot on it, trying to force something, that's when Liverpool can get a third. But at 1-0, they'll be quite happy if it was 1-0 after the first 10 minutes. So it's about that second goal for me.
I think it's an interesting point that you made there, Steve, because you're right. Liverpool have been I've just been caught flat-footed a bit. I think Newcastle tried to do the same, and unfortunately Newcastle are crap. Yeah. So they didn't have the tools to be able to really hurt us in that period. But they came at us flurry of energy, trying to get on top in early doors. Be interesting to see whether Chelsea actually do take that sort of approach themselves. What is it? What are Liverpool doing differently to counteract that?
I disagree. I think we've had one bad start, and that was against Aston Villa, to be honest with you. Obviously Villarreal, but everything else, I've watched those 10-15 minutes again, right? And there's mistakes, but we're not playing badly. You know what I mean? So for the one at the weekend, there's mistakes. Of course, there's mistakes, but that can happen at any point in the game. Mistakes can creep in. Liverpool aren't scoring those chances early, and that's what's clouding people's judgment. If you go back, and I've watched the first 10 minutes of a few games recently again, they're not actually playing badly. Mm-hmm. It's just that the result isn't going your way after maybe those times.
I think there's been cases of switching off a little bit, or just
mistakes.
And that's what I'm saying. That's unlike us. It's just like I don't know whether it's nerves. It could be nerves. Like the human beings at the end of the day, that you're talking about the quad and stuff. That's always been on the table. Villarreal, I think, is a bit different because that was their game plan. It's just to go on absolute blitzers. I don't think Aston Villa's was. It was just a situation presented itself where Liverpool made a couple of really uncharacteristic errors. So
take the fucking offside out of it, and Liverpool had a really good start to that game.
And that's a good point. Yeah, well, yeah. So it's a good point. If he just sticks his flag up, you're right. So I don't think it's anything mad.
They had about 1.4 XG, and about 1 came in the first 3 minutes from 3 shots that probably shouldn't have counted.
And that's the thing I think is that it's felt frantic every kick for the first 5 minutes of every game, and us and the opposition.
But this is what I mean, and this is what I said. And for me, Villarreal is. The Liverpool were playing the right passes, they were playing them poorly, and that was a thing that typified that first half for me, because I was like, oh wow, yeah, and then the ball wouldn't reach the man, or the man wasn't alert to it. I don't know whether that's being switched on or whatever. And what was noticeable at Aston Villa is I don't think we were very brave with the fullbacks in that first half either. I mean, it's telling the biggest moment we create is when Trent gets beyond the line of the 18-yard box and cuts it back to Naby, and I do sometimes think that about are we trying to take a game down to 45 minutes sometimes. Not like we're playing defensive football, but we're not going necessarily as gung-ho into stuff. And I wonder whether that's just is that a little... I mean, Liverpool are very good at figuring games of football out, but that's normally on an expectation that teams are not going to come at us and not going to press us. I think we've been caught a little cold in those games, and you're right. Look, if the chance with Aston Villa gets flagged, fine, but Liverpool do feel at 6s and 7s for that first 15,
but we've been changing our
minutes.
midfield every single game, and the biggest difference is Thiago plays completely differently to any other midfielder that you put in there. So you look at Thiago's average position, he's normally next to Fabinho by the halfway line. You look at Kurt Jones's from the game at the weekend, and he's almost where the number 9 plays, in like in a false 9-10 position. Now that's your left-sided midfielder. Like that's a big difference, 20 yards on the pitch. Liverpool couldn't put the foot on the ball against Aston Villa. One of the midfielders was miles up by the striker for most of the game.
And I thought Fab had a stinker as well.
Yeah, he was terrible.
Yeah, which didn't help as well. So we actually looked better when Jordan came.
And the Villarreal one's the one where I thought we played badly. By the way, and Thiago starts in that game, and I was he was uncharacteristic in how he played, but every lad was, and they were taken by the occasion and everything else. For the other games, I don't think we were that bad, to be honest.
No, and we don't want to be too negative, because we're still brilliant. We're the favourites, and rightly we should be as well. And as much Chelsea can cause us problems, but then the flip side is we can cause them an array of problems. We've got world-class footballers all over the pitch. They've got midfield injury issues, which we're going to touch upon as well. So it's an intriguing one. The thing is, mate, if you just said to me now, where are we going to be on 75 minutes, I'm probably going to say level. Mm-hmm. That would be my just as a rough guess. I hope it's not. I hope we have just blitzkrieged them, but I just don't see it.
Well, I've said this plenty of times in big games like that. You set yourself up to be more disappointed with success when you set the bar so high.
That's why City was so good. It was so unexpected to go into that lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to be in that kind of mentality again. I was hoping that we'd see something during every one of them Chelsea games that said we were much better than them. And to be fair, Stamford Bridge, we very nearly got that until it all sort of crumbled and their intensity got away from us a little bit in that game. I think it's possible. I do think we're better than them. Yeah. But there's not enough demonstrable evidence there to say this is going to be this should be fine for Liverpool. We're going to have to fight for every inch of
it. Worst teams than Chelsea have ran us close recently.
Yeah, exactly.
The big thing for me is it's what does beating them in 2 finals do to it them already. You know, massive NFL fan yourself, the Cowboys and the Bills from the 90s. They played them 3 times and get beat by them 3 times or something in the Super Bowl.
Cowboys and the Undies.
The Bills, the Buffalo Bills, Paul. It's an American
the
sports
Buffalo
franchise.
Bills.
It was 3 times, wasn't it? Did they make it to 4 in the end, and they lost all 4, didn't they, in the mid-90s? And it's that thing is, what have we got on them mentally now? They've lost their Super Cup to us. They're miles behind us in the Premier League. They're out of the Champions League, and they're playing the fellas that beat them in the last 2 cup finals that when they've played them. So
and what does that do? And what does he do if it goes to a penalty shootout as well?
Mendy first pen.
Well, he brings Kepa on, doesn't he? That's what he does.
That's what I mean. Does he do that? Yeah, does he do that again?
100%.
No chance.
That's mad.
He will, and he'll double down on it.
You reckon?
100%. Unless who knows where the subs
unless he's a shit house, is that what you're saying?
No, unless they've had to use the subs.
I was going to say, to play 120 minutes at the end of the season like this,
he might have had to use the subs.
I think you use your 5 subs in extra time regardless. Saving 1, it seems a bit mental because they're going to get legged on Saturday. And if he goes 120, they're getting legged for 120 minutes.
If he's got the sub available, he will use it.
Do you still get the extra sub and extra time?
I think so. Yeah. So I think if he gets the sub, I think he uses it, to be honest, personally, because he said it's an analytical decision. It's not an emotional decision. So why would you analytical?
So yeah, you've made that seem like bullshit if you don't do it again.
Yeah. Why would you then?
He can back out of it by saying the lad's tired in at half time and extra time. I'm going to put
that's how you do it. It's how
you
use it before you get asked.
Something else.
You just say to someone, "Do us a favour, hold your hamstring there, lad." As you're walking off, do us a favour.
In terms of who Chelsea haven't got available, N'Golo Kante is rated as 50-50 for the game on May 10th. They were saying we are fighting for Georgie and we're fighting for N'Golo for tomorrow, but it will be close.
That was for
the midweek game. Callum Hudson-Odoi ruled out, and at the moment Mateo Kovacic is ruled out.
I'd be amazed if he plays. Dan James, that was I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's bad. Like that. If I'm Kovacic, I'm absolutely raging. It's one thing to go out of a final like Fabinho has with a hamstring. It's for someone to boot you out of a final. With Liverpool hat on, Dan James might have done us a bit of a favour there in generally. I don't mean because Kovacic's been really good against us.
Yeah.
He's, more often than not, you got man to match in the 2 or he scores a worldie of a goal. I thought he was very, very good in the he's been very good against us, so it looks like he'll be out. I'd be amazed if he's back from that. His ankle's over here on the pitch.
And you might end up, if they rush him back for this, and that's going to be an interesting conversation. I'm going to talk about Fabinho in part 2, but, you know, me and Neil Jones on Genuine says had a bit of a chat about this, about you often find in finals, like a lad gets rushed back. Like the one for the FA Cup final was Middlesbrough rushing Ravanelli back, and he was just nowhere near, but they had nothing like his quality. And this could be a Kyle Walker, Real Madrid style situation for Kovacic, where do they strap him up, dose him full of painkillers and push him out on the field? And
they might have to if Kante and Jorginho aren't available. That's the other thing, but then the flip side is the others are being rushed back as well. Like, you know what I mean? What are they coming in? Because they've missed a couple of weeks now, Kante and Jorginho, haven't they? So that's obviously a difficult one. What did it say about Alonso? Because Alonso was a doubt as well.
Nothing on Alonso.
And obviously with Chilwell being out, he did his cruciate in, didn't he, ages ago?
So
Alonso, I heard, was a doubt. So.
Well, he played against Leeds. He was,
did he? Yeah.
He was useless. But he battered him in the end, to be fair. But Jorginho played, but Kante's the one. I think you could probably rule Kovacic. I'd be amazed if Kovacic played. It was bad. It's the other way around. Are they going to just patch Kante? Now they've lost Kovacic. Are they going to patch Kante up and just throw him out there? And there's no way he can be 100%. There's no way.
In terms of the 11 that Chelsea played on the Wednesday night, it was Mendy in goal. There's a back three of Rudiger, Christensen and Chalobah. Marcos Alonso was left, wing-back Reece James. Right, centre mid-pair of Kovacic and Jorginho. And Pulisic and Mount were behind Lukaku. And then obviously with the subs going on, Ruben Loftus-Cheek came on for Kovacic. Ziyech and Cesar Azpilicueta came on as well in that one, and you imagine Azpilicueta will be straight back in the right side of the back three.
Yeah, they'll bring Christensen off, won't they? They'll bring Christensen off as well, you would think.
And for Thiago Silva will come back in. You imagine, the Lukaku stuff's interesting in this. We've not really talked about him yet. It's interesting that everyone's so desperate to write him off, and I had to, just for my own sense of just gathering where he's at, want to see what kind of form he's been in. He scored 3 in his last 2, and I know it's Wolves and Leeds and how much they've got left. Well, I know Leeds, I've got lots to play for, but they're shit.
And they keep playing with 10 men.
And they keep
a bit of a problem at the moment for them, actually.
Basically taking their own players off the field. But he bagged 2 against Wolves and 1 against Leeds as well. So I'm not in on this idea of like, let's laugh at Lukaku or whatever.
Mate, he's that close to scoring in the final against us. Like, it was nice.
What their game plan is, he's perfect for them as well. Like, if they're looking for a bit more control or whatever, they play Havertz, I think, don't they? But if they're looking to try and get someone in behind, Werner and Lukaku, I don't know how well they play together, but they were the 2 that played together against Wolves. Yeah. And if you're thinking about the speed of goals in behind, Werner and Lukaku were the ones that they scare me.
And it's funny because people go on about Lukaku because I think everyone wanted him to be Drogba Mark II, and he never was. And I think Mourinho saw that in him somehow, and he wanted that to be him at Man United, and it never really suited him. The Lukaku that's the best Lukaku is the one that plays like, to use a lesser example, but like Djibril Cissé. Have him chase stuff down.
Jamie Vardy, mate, fucking whatever. Exactly. Like, you know what I mean? That's what he is. Just because he looks different doesn't mean he is.
Yeah, just because he's like 6'3" and 22 stone or whatever, he looks like he should be the perfect, complete target man centre forward. But his touch is not good enough, and never has been good enough for that.
You see the goal he scores last night? I mean, he should have buried that. 4 and times. He had to have 7 touches before he eventually gets it in the back of the net, because his first touch, as it always has been, is fucking boiled shite.
Yeah, he's a danger. I don't think he will start. I think Havertz starts, because I think they want the Havertz goes deep and the midfielders go behind him. That just makes too much. They've had success. He's done it every time they played. So why would they change now? It's more interesting of who those wide guys are. It probably one will be Mason Mount, you would think.
100% the form he's in as well.
Yeah, and then it's who do you put in the other one? They've got a lot of options, to be fair. Like I say, you got Ziyech. Loftus-Cheek's amazed out of nowhere again. He was nowhere for a while. He's back in. He might have to play centre mid if Kante's not available. So yeah, I think there's more questions around Chelsea's team than ours. Ours is just basically there's one spot up for available in our team now, and it's because Fab's out. Yeah. And who's going to fill it?
Yeah, and absolutely. Look, I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek's a really good player, by the way. Yeah, and he's kind of fallen foul of injury, and then just not being fashionable enough, I think, at Chelsea sometimes. But for me, he's got everything as a midfielder. So the idea, of course, look, I agree. I think Kovacic is brilliant. I really do. I just think
always against us as well.
And Kante's obviously class, and Jorginho as well. But you could do worse than have to. If they have to put Ruben Loftus-Cheek in, we saw them do the week bagging a goal when everyone's going, oh, it's Loftus-Cheek, whatever. So and a bit more physicality as well in that regard as well. We've got some super chats. We'll go through a couple of them before we go to our break. JPJR just sent us £1.79. Thank you so much. That's lovely. LaChill with £5 super chat says, finals never make great games. This is going to come down to timely subs, injuries, and the refereeing performance. We want a game that will flow. Yeah, the thing is, there's not really any great sense in time wasting, I guess, in this, unless Chelsea are feeling like our game plan is purely to frustrate Liverpool. There's a finite amount of time on the clock for both teams to win it, and again, this might boil down to what have you got and how fit your players are. I don't think either team's going to want it to go to extra time, but might Liverpool, Chris, be slightly happier with it going to extra time, just in terms of what we've got available?
Not a chance. Too many games this season, too many games still to play. Had the game been after Man City's league game, maybe. But with them playing on the Sunday and us playing on the Saturday, that changes things for me. I think Liverpool want to wrap this up in 90 minutes and I think he'll use most of his subs again. I think he'll continue to do what he's done. I think I pretty much I think I know what the side's going to be for both teams, to be honest with you. Question marks maybe over who the midfielders for Chelsea. My guess would be that it's going to end up being Kante and Jorginho for this one. And then you've got a question mark over Liverpool's midfield. I know we'll talk about that a little bit later and stuff, but 90 minutes it's got to be. We've just had too many games of footy.
Yeah, so extra time it is. JPGR 179. Discuss Hendo's 6 and Naby question mark midfield, please. We will do that in part 2. And John Lee, David Black just sent a super chat in as well. Thank you so much, my friend, who is not a Tory, Chris.
I didn't say he was a Tory. I said it's a Tory name.
So he had many first names. Sorry, John.
It is quite. It's like Dewsbury Hall for Leicester. Like, he might not be a Tory, but it's a very Tory name. And he plays for Leicester, so maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, okay, Sal, we're going to take a very short break. We've got a trivia question in the meantime. Nice and simple, nice and easy, relatively speaking. Name Liverpool's starting 11 from our last FA Cup final win. Hello everyone, it's time for your ultimate fan update. How have we been getting on? What have people been doing to my team? We'll have to find out. I'm hoping that everything has been fine without me pouring, my full attention into it. Week 36, then we came home empty-handed, but in the Redmen League, it was a big 237th place finish. Congratulations though to CE 563 2020. That's a lot of people who've got CE as their username, isn't it? 117 points. Raheem Sterling taking on 48, who had the captain's armband. Sadio Mane with the golden boot on 27 as well. He's backed City heavily in that team, and obviously we've backed Liverpool and that didn't quite work out for us. Laporte was the biggest point return for our team. Jordan Henderson got just 1 point on the week as well, and nothing from Mohamed Salah. Gutted. Big shout out then to Rob Tomp27, A Redman, Teflon Don, OV Force, Vivonsky 76, J1892, MW Sherlock, Liverpool, good name, Timo 25 and Skywalker 007, who made our top 10 in the Redmen League and Ultimate Fan this week. You guys are absolutely amazing. Where did I go then? Somewhere very, 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 very low down the pack. Level with Tom G 98, the John Lewis 2304, Argent 09, Kezo 11. You guys are all, I think like me, it was just a bad week. It doesn't show that you've got poor quality or you're lacking anything as people. You just had it was just unfortunate. It was clearly a bad week. In fact, let me just have a quick look at what Kezo did. Similarly, he's back Liverpool as a proper Redmen viewer and fan should have done. Just saying, and has therefore been a bit unlucky by Liverpool's draw at the weekend. So yeah, don't be disheartened too much on that. Last couple of game weeks left to play on this. Of course, if you want to get involved, we'll put our league code up on the screen. Sign up, get involved. It's completely free to play. You open packs every week, build your team, and then weekly fantasy football points. So you literally can start now. Start now. Download it now. Get involved. Get in our league and get a shout out on the next Ultimate Fan update. And we put a link in the description underneath. Check out the Ultimate Fan guys. They got some brilliant promotional offers available for people who want to sign up over there as well, so they can help save you money on a variety of things and give you the boss game to play every single game week as well. That is the Ultimate Fan update. Check back for more next week. Hey, welcome back to the FA Cup final build-up. I asked you a trivia question before we went to the break, which was to name the starting 11 the last time Liverpool won the FA Cup. Who was in goal?
Reina.
Correct. Who was right back?
Finnan.
Correct.
Sammy.
Carragher.
Yep.
And Hippier and Risa.
Yep.
Gerrard, Alonso.
Yep.
Sissoko.
Momo Sissoko.
Cool.
Harry Kewell.
Cisse.
Crouch.
Well done. Absolutely fantastic.
Nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Cromcam comes off the bench at one
Go on,
point.
actually, yeah, go on. Who comes
Haman comes on.
Didier Man? In what minute?
Oh,
I'm just checking what you've got it open in front of you.
no. Haman defo comes on.
Haman comes on.
Haman comes on because everyone was like, when he came on and changed the game in the Champions League final, why isn't he starting this one?
Jan Kronkamp and
Morientes come on, didn't he?
Fernando Morientes.
I was surprised he never took a pen, did he? Morientes didn't take one of the penalties at that, I remember.
To be fair, he was crap.
He was awful. He was.
Note according to LFChistory.com. Kewell goes off injured for his third Liverpool Cup final in a row.
Yeah, who'd have thunk that?
Oh, Harry. Yeah, there you go. If you got that right, you're absolutely brilliant.
I remember Sammy Ape taking a penalty and thinking, why is Sammy Ape taking a penalty? And like, not the guy we've signed from Real Madrid to like, think what's going on here? Like?
It's mad how that happens sometimes, isn't it? Like, just players, you're like, yeah, they'll be all over this, and they're just a bit like, yeah, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stand back here a second, and then, oh, you picked your penalty takers already.
Who used to take the pens at Madrid, not me.
Sounds okay, cool. Yeah, and just a worthwhile mention for you guys as well in terms of content to keep you up and entertained in the meantime between now and kickoff at Wembley. We've got loads of stuff over on Redmen Plus. I chatted to Michael Thomas, who scored the opener and set up the deciding goal against Sunderland in the 92 Cup final, to get his story in and around that game. Really, really good stuff. We had a debate show special. And Neil Jones on JNO Insight as well. We had a bit of a chat around Fabinho and Kovacic, as well as a bunch of transfer stories, including Sadio Mane, potentially to Bayern Munich or not. You'll have to watch or listen to that to check it out. All available in video and in audio podcast form in your native podcasting app if you subscribe on Redmen Plus. Anywho, look, we've kind of danced around it enough. There's no way other than to describe Fabinho being out as a huge blow. Chris, you could see it in Jurgen's face in his post-match interview for Villa. It doesn't even need to be like a super serious injury at this point. We know he's in a race against time for the Champions League final, and let's hope that, look, if that's his focus. But yeah, you could see he's gutted. He knows how important he is to us.
He does, and the rest of the squad know that, and that's what actually gives me a little bit of confidence in Jordan Henderson, because when everyone's looking around thinking and worrying about Fabinho, that's when your captain can stand up and prove why he's still around. Every time that Fabinho does tend to drop out injured, Endo comes in and plays incredibly well in that six.
Yeah.
He plays it in a different style, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly something that he can do. Would I like to see a full season of it? No, probably not. But in short bursts, it's certainly a role that Jordan Henderson can fulfill.
I also think, mate, like, you've referenced before that Liverpool always, injuries around cup finals. Yet there's a reason there's always injuries, because at the end of the season you are going to get injuries. You're going to go. Chelsea will be saying cry me a river, you know what I mean, like, because you've got one lad out injured at the moment, like,
They've got three lads that they've got out over.
Their left backs out for the season. They've got the midfielders out. They've got another one question. So it is what it is. You've got to just be able to cope with it. Of course it's a blow. It's a huge blow, because Liverpool's best 11 has got Fabinho in. There's no doubt about it, but you can't. Your team shouldn't crumble because you're not with that one fella. Yeah. That just can't happen. You've got to get over it. Like, you referenced the Champions League final. We went into that without a few players. Naby was sitting watching at home with his crutches. Like, shit happens. You've got to be able to get over it, kind of thing.
I agree. Yeah.
And at least Liverpool, again, the small measure of it happened on Tuesday, so they've got their head around. They got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Jordan Henderson knew the second Fab went off. I'm playing number 6 in the cup final. Like, he knows it's not a last minute. It's not Thiago in the warm up. Touch wood. Like, again, the game plan all the way through this week now will be Jordan's the 6th, because like, if someone's 50-50, like say Kante, and he's a game time decision, Thomas Tuchel's got to do two plans. He's got me Kante plan and me non-Kante plan. Yeah. At least now we know Jordan's the 6, and then you can work around it. It's not ideal, it's crap. Fabinho's brilliant, but
there's a bit of a false notion, I think, that the best 11 for teams plays all the time, and I always paraphrase this. It's a great article about like the best 11s that never played together, and you can say name that great Arsenal side of the early noughties, and you name it, and it's like it literally never played a game of footy because someone was always out injured, and that's kind of where you're at. This is what it is to be a top football club. You lose players and you cope with it, and moreover, Chris, someone else steps up. And look, it might be the thing that undoes Liverpool. That might be the thing that gives Chelsea the key to the game. But the flip side of that is another lad's going to play football for Liverpool in an FA Cup final and has an opportunity to write himself into Liverpool history.
Absolutely. And look, the midfield's going to be the key battleground, I think, isn't it? Certainly when you think of what three he's going to play for Liverpool. I mean, judging on the most recent performances, it's probably the most obvious that it would be Hendo in the 6, Keita and Thiago.
Naby, I wouldn't bank on Naby being fit though. He didn't look particularly comfortable at the end of that Villa game. I don't know what it was, but
like, he booted Taro Mings or
it was like he was holding his pelvis in that one.
Yeah, so he went down a couple of times, and I was there, and he limped off the pitch as well. It wasn't like he was tired. He genuinely didn't look great. So I wouldn't even bank on him like being 100%.
If he's fit, I agree with.
If he's fit, he plays. If he's not,
I think that midfield, because in the absence of Fabinho, absolutely picks itself. Yeah. And I think because I think we all want to replicate as best we could what we had against Man City, of having the Naby, Thiago, bit more fluid, bit more free flow, and playing more of our game type thing. Now, whether with Jordan Henderson in there and having, I mean, look, we said this is not a disrespect to Jordan Henderson, we're slightly less secure with Henderson. I think we're actually a bit more fluid going forwards with him in the 6, but it's whether we feel the need to counteract that with our other midfield choice. I don't think we will. I think it's as simple as Keita just comes in.
With the way the midfield lines up, right, and I've mentioned a couple of times over the last few weeks about Thiago's positioning next to the DM. That's when Liverpool's defensive record got better as well, by the way. Yeah. When Thiago gets that run of games, when Van Dijk's form picks up, it's no coincidence Fabinho's not firefighting on his own anymore. And Jordan Henderson, for me, he can play a 6 on his own, but with having someone next to him as well, that makes it a little bit easier. And he doesn't have, when he played a year for us in the 6, he was the fulcrum of the entire side. Now it's a case of Hendo, give the ball to Thiago and let's move on from there.
Give it to Naby as well.
Or give it to Naby, you know what I mean? There's other lads that can step up in his absence in the 8s nowadays, and that just changes things as well for me. So I'm really excited to see how they do line up. I think Keita could cause them a few problems, to be honest with you. If he makes some late runs, obviously he has that opportunity, doesn't he, where he slaloms through players the other night against Villa, misses a big one. But it wouldn't surprise me if he puts one away.
Yeah, and also, something like that. In terms of what Naby was doing in the League Cup final, just being an upsetter for Kante, that's the thing. You want to restrict what he does. And it's mad. I find it mad how he's evolved as a midfielder. I always thought it was crackers when they took him out of being a DM and let him run riot. He shouldn't be able to be that good. He's still doing, but he is. And he has a real way of upsetting what we do defensively, and whether it is a thing to Keita of going, what you did in the Carabao, go and do that again, but actually this time, can you go better? Can you be that plus? Can you add more strings to your bow? All that being said, there's every chance that he puts James Milner in.
I was about to say, I wouldn't be shocked if Milner starts. If Naby's 100%, it's not a question for me, but if he's 80, he might just go with Milner to bring Naby on. I think if you ask Jurgen Klopp, when the final whistle goes in a cup final, who do you want on the pitch? Milner's often wants. He would like to have James Milner on there. Again, you've got to be thinking, if he's thinking penalties and stuff as well, that's always in consideration. But some of the biggest games in the history under Jurgen Klopp, James Milner, he hasn't always started them, but he's often been on the pitch at the end.
The Carabao Cup finally comes on 80 with Harvey Elliott, Dunny and Diogo Jota. So that's exactly right. He's there at the end.
In terms of that pecking order, because we saw Kurt Jones play in midweek, and for some we're a bit shocked by that, but it wasn't a shock because he's above a couple of other lads in that. But that this is where we're kind of at. The obvious midfield, you take Fabinho out and it's just as simple as Henderson, Thiago, Keita. That's the midfield that starts. Yeah. If there's a further doubt beyond that, or he wants to do something else, then Keita will not make that game for either fitness or because he'll want more. He wants something else.
It can't be Jones. It can't be Jones and Thiago, because they're both. So who be right?
And this is the point: is like who then is there? Is he going to throw Harvey Elliott in out the cold from nowhere? I don't think there's a single chance that happens.
It's Milner.
And the same with Oxlade-Chamberlain. He doesn't come out the cold to start the FA Cup final.
43-1.
Oh yeah. Well, again, Neil Jones was saying just play 4-2-4 from the start and go for it, but it also said if you're going to see that'll be Southampton when we do that.
Goal difference chasing.
Yeah, fuck it, But moreover, because we need to make sure the midfield is rested with one less, first team option. So. Yeah, like who is in there? It's gonna be Milner, and there's gonna be people who are gonna roll their eyes at that. But that's
I agree, by the way. But the only thing that would concern me if I was Jurgen Klopp and I was putting Milner on from the start is the fact that if it goes 120, I have to change someone in the middle of the park at some point during the game. Now he might be okay with that, and that's absolutely fine. But like, I'd be a little bit like, wouldn't mind him at the end there, Milner, if there comes to penalties.
Yeah.
Rather than like, is he going to play 120 and then take a pen?
If that's the case, let's say, again, we're talking in hypotheticals where Naby's not fit, but it might be that Naby's not.
Naby and Thiago for me are the 2-8s because of they're playing a back five essentially.
They were playing,
and they're the two lads who can get out, get chalk on the boots when they're pressing. You know what I mean, and get back in again. That's the thing. That's the difference for me is they press so well and high up the pitch.
Sorry. Can I change the question slightly a little bit now? Like, who's playing centre half next to Virgil for you?
Konate.
It's a coin toss for me, to be honest with you. Yeah, he's played Matip against him this season. He's played Konate against him this season.
Depends who he thinks is starting.
Yeah,
and I think the pace thing, regardless, even if it's Havertz, it's going to be Werner. And I think just having that extra recovery pace, I think he'll go.
Matip starts Carabao and scores. He scores. It's a horrendous of a decision.
See, the pace thing's interesting because I can come down on both sides of that argument as well. I think Konate's faster, don't get me wrong, but I think Matip and Virgil's understanding of the back line is better.
Yeah.
So, it's great. Konate's got the recovery pace, but wouldn't you just rather him be offside?
And also, if you look at the Tottenham game, I thought we missed Matip's on the ball ability. They were just happy to let Konate have it.
Yeah.
And yet Konate in that game, I think I'm right in saying, played the ball into the box more than any other player on the pitch. I think it was 8 times.
Yeah, he did. But go back to Villa. I thought Matip was brilliant with the ball.
Yeah.
Again, and he has got the Joel Matip. He loves the slalom, doesn't he, as well? So it's an interesting one. I think he's going to go Konate, personally. I think that's why Matip plays on Tuesday. But
the difference for me, and where it might come down to, is Konate's more of a threat off set pieces.
And the big pitch at Wembley, he might be easier to cover across and stuff like that.
We see this in the semi, don't we? We had that little glut of headed goals from Konate. That's a match winning moment. And look, I'm talking about Joel Matip, who literally scored in the week. And I'm about to say what I'm about to say, but I think we're just not in. I don't think we're in particularly fluid goal scoring or lethal predatory goal finishing sort of form at the moment. Our attackers, Salah's a bit off, Jota's a bit off. Mane is, but Diaz is still not clicked 100% into that yet. So having Konate there is just that. Yeah.
The flip side of that is, I thought it was interesting in the League Cup final that Konate was. His response to Lukaku coming on was to get Big Eby on.
Yeah.
So if he thinks Chelsea aren't going to start with Lukaku, which I don't, he might do the same. I'd go, right, Joel, you're playing. If they bring Lukaku on with 15 to go, I'll make my sub as well. Maybe it's a chess match.
Well, this is the difference. The 5 subs to 3.
You can sub your centre half off.
You can literally change. Yeah, you don't have to.
Imagine he brings Lukaku, starts him and takes him off after 1 because we've started Konate on something.
Tuchel just proper Tuchel
chess match.
Yeah, Tuchel. That's like you and Ross in the draft.
That's brilliant.
After trying to kill each other instead of just picking the best players.
Yeah. It's but that's a possibility, and that's an interesting discussion. It's. Kai Havertz is very clever, isn't he? And whether you need a little bit more nous in Matip and it being the final. I mean, I'm not against the idea that Matip just plays now this game and then plays the Champions League final, and Konate plays the other.
See, I think Konate's going to play the Champions League final. It's the physicality thing.
It's the 5 sub thing for me. I look at Leicester when we bring Konate on to shut that game down. Bring him on late, and all of a sudden the ball stops getting into our final 40, 50 yards of the pitch because they're going long looking for someone. Konate's bigger than you, he's stronger than you, he's taller than you, he's better than you. And he's also fresh. And I wonder whether there's something down the line. You know, as we said, we've seen that in the Carabao Cup final. I've got a vision of that for the Champions League final when Benzema's running on empty. And they maybe, what do they decide to do? They decide to stick with him. And then you go, okay, well, we'll bring Konate on and just basically nullify him by that point. Hopefully. Might be speaking a bit too...
I think Konate start. And I think the Wembley pitch is a consideration in this. He gets across the ground easier. I think he'll start Konate, personally.
Yeah.
I'm still not ready to choose.
It's just a guess. I mean, I don't care either way. I mean,
because I thought, he starts Matip midweek, maybe 2 games on the bounce for Joel Matip will be it. He's got his eye in, he's coming back in. But then you're like, he played Konate a couple of games and then he's given him a week off. Maybe that's the one. And there's just nothing between them. And to be honest with you, I actually don't think it matters.
Yeah, what's interesting actually with Liverpool, one who's nailed on to come back in is Andy Robertson. He wasn't injured on Tuesday. He was just completely given the game off, which I thought was really interesting. They just gone, right, Sam, mate, you don't even have to warm up. You don't have to go through the process. Just rest and relax. Perfect. Tsimikas has been sound. I
thought he was, you know what, bar a mad minute at the start when he decides to turn into like Mortal Kombat. Other than that, I thought he was good.
Yeah, when he treated the 18-yard box like a Royal Rumble.
Skittles, can I take Virgil out with you?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's definitely been playing that Wii Sports, hasn't he? And he's just thrown himself at Virgil's legs.
Yeah,
the legs. But
he's fine. He's absolutely fine. But it's interesting that we played Chelsea right in early doors in the season, and we chuck Robertson straight into that game.
Fit.
And I thought it was a bad call because Tsimikas was up and running, he was in form, and I think we suffered a little bit for it. Agreed. Now it's like, no, Andy Robertson is completely and utterly... We were here December putting polls out and getting 50-50 on who starts left back for Liverpool, and this is not a disrespect to Tsimikas, it's just that Andy Robertson is just...
Interesting though, December we were doing them polls, he starts against Chelsea at the Bridge on the 2nd of January, Kostas Tsimikas, and that's how good he was playing at that point of the season as well, wasn't he?
And we had a few of them, just in terms of the attack as well, just to move on to that really. I think the attack until he picks itself here.
Yeah.
Diaz, Mane, Salah.
Yeah.
I the only alternative, I don't know if you're about to say this, D, is if he's got like a 60 minutes for Bobby in here that he might just chuck out just to throw the cat amongst the pigeons.
For who? No, I don't see. The only thing that I would mention is like Rudiger's done well against Mo Salah. I know Salah's obviously got goals against Chelsea. I was about to say, he knows he's not playing with Chelsea anymore, so that's always in his mind. And Mo Salah might be thinking the same, I open up, but that's an interesting battle because Rudiger's won that battle, I think, over the last couple of games, especially with this back three that they've got now. It allows him basically to go and just rough up Mo Salah. The goal he scored at Stamford Bridge comes from literally that. He beats Mo Salah in a battle. So I thought he did the job on him in the League Cup final as well. And I was shocked at the end of that game. It was Salah who was the last one on. I think Jürgen again had half an eye on penalties in that game as well. But I think Mo isn't in great... Well, he's not in great form, I think that's fair to say. He got given Tuesday essentially off. He had to come on for 10 minutes and didn't really have to do a whole lot in the end. So I think it's time for Mo now.
Mo Salah needs to stop talking about how good he is and just go back to being really good. And I like the confidence of like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but it loses impact.
Score a goal, please, Mo.
Like Rafa coming out ahead of the Chelsea semi-final about, no, we're going to win. We're going to the final here. And we were like, go ahead. But you just then that's it. Quiet now. Back to business. Sorry, before anyone else shouts at Chris or us in the comments, Robbo was suspended for the Chelsea game, which is why Tsimikas played. I'd forgotten that.
It was the COVID carryover
because he missed the game. Because we missed the game.
Say anything about why?
Yeah, you just said he played.
I said he played, lads.
Yeah.
Am I right? Thank you. I am, because Robertson was suspended.
COVID carryover meant that he missed the Chelsea game.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, yes, carry on.
Why did Kelleher play?
Because Alisson had COVID.
Alisson was a COVID case.
Yeah, and my
the manager had COVID as well. Literally, we didn't have a manager at the time as well. It was a mad one. I'm going back to the previous conversation about the front three. I thought Diaz was really, really good in that final against them. Mm-hmm. It just so happened that he was very new to us as well, and he still looked bright. Now he should, in theory, be even more integrated into the side. It was Chalobah, wasn't he, played that on the right that day, and I thought he had him on toast quite a little bit, to be honest with you. It would be very, very interesting if he does that again. if the game plan is even more Luis Diaz focused. It should be, I think. I think of the three of them at the moment, I know Mane's in amazing goal scoring form and brilliant to see that, but in terms of build-up play, I would like to see Liverpool go down the left more. Trent's there, obviously, he always is, but the Robertson, Thiago, Diaz trio looks really intriguing to me against what I'd say would be Chelsea's weaker side.
What are you saying? Azpilicueta, James?
It's good if it is that. It depends. I mean, he might not. Is he going to do both? Perhaps. Yeah, I'd fancy our chances.
I mean, look, the issue with that, I'm right in thinking Azpilicueta starts right wing back and Chalobah starts right centre back, which is different. I think if
Reece
they've
James,
got
That's what I mean. I think Azpilicueta starts right centre.
I mean, look, to the point
with Reece James at right back, so
we're
you've got to try and
point-
pin him back, try and keep him pinned
We're
back.
reaching a point with Diaz though where there's not a bad opponent for him to go up against. We say, okay, so they're putting a faster wing back. Okay,
It's
we'll
the
put a
options
faster player.
that Liverpool have got is why Diaz starts, by the way, is because Jota's not in great form. That's why he starts, and because Firmino's injured.
He's definitely going to play. It's more a case of, I think the game plan should be more Diaz driven. I would like to see us do that. Just go down there.
I'd start right first 5 minutes and go Salah and get them going that way. And then the game plan for me is Diaz down the other side for the rest of the game. Just get them thinking that you're going to Salah and then start going to Diaz.
The Trent to Diaz ball should always be on because it should be.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that front three again is absolutely nailed. I literally, with the exception of Matip or Kanate, I think the team totally picks itself.
Yeah.
The only potential surprises in there are, again, it could be one or two of the centre halves, and it might be Milner gets chucked in, depending on Naby, and you might, on the balance of probabilities, I think we're more likely to see Firmino than Jota, because I think Jota's had his go. If Bobby's fit, it just might be that he's going back to something a little bit more tried and tested. My issue with the Diaz stuff is he's played a lot of football, and he's played a lot of football for us as well. And whether there's just something to having on 60 minutes, having something electric to bring into the game.
That's Jota though. That's where Jota comes in.
But I'm not sure Jota's that's the thing. Jota is your, maybe if it's tight and it's compact, and I don't think you can be. I don't think that happens at Wembley because it's such a big pitch.
Yeah. I just don't think you can start a cup final worrying about like that. You know, you start the team and you think you're going to score the goals now.
Yeah.
Don't worry about 60 minutes. Just make sure you're winning.
Yeah, and if you want someone like that on the left hand side, you move Mane out there, because when he was running with the ball on the left hand side against Villa again, he was looking absolutely electric. He was looking like the dribbler that he used to be.
He was excellent.
And that's what honestly, I think that's the alternative. Is it's Bobby to start.
It's nice to have Bobby back,
Mane from the left, Salah from the right, and he goes with that.
The OG from free.
And it depends, but as I say, my feeling was what the Chelsea semi-final was like, it showed us what his new ideal Liverpool team looks like.
He wants Diaz playing left.
He does want Diaz. I agree.
And he doesn't look, and to your point about him playing a lot of football, of course he has, but he doesn't look like it. Like the other lads do. Like Salah looks like he's played a lot of footy. Diaz doesn't right now, so keep him going.
Yeah, you're right. And in that regard,
you can have Tuesday off.
Diaz and Mane both look like they're more than happy to pick up the baton. Salah and Jota have both scored 7 goals, I think, since AFCON or whatever. They're both fine. They're ticking over. But neither of them, I would be looking at this game and go, they're definitely going to turn it on in this. They're both a bit like, of course they can turn it on. They're both absolutely amazing, and I love them both to bits. Right now, Diaz and Mane look a little bit like, well, we're just going to go and do this. Yeah. And if anyone else wants to join us on the way,
race, like,
yeah.
Diaz and Mane have just taken the baton off Jota and Salah.
Jota and Salah we got
all year long. We got used to there. Do us a favour, lads. We're knackered. Can you just go and finish this off by winning us a couple of trophies, please? The Diaz signing's changed this season around. I think we can. It's safe. I think without him now, I think we would be looking leggy and a little bit. He's like the new lease of life. And you're right to reference. He's played a lot of footy, but I don't know if the footy at Porto he's played wouldn't have been intense as the flogging that Mo Salah's had. So I think that's where we're at now.
The flip side of that though is that like the training's not there. You know, they're not getting the lads probably as fit as the Liverpool's pre-season training gets them. So I think it comes down to a lot of natural ability with him. You know, Liverpool have picked this profile perfectly. They understand exactly what his capacity is for footy, and we're seeing it right now on the pitch.
And he's fucking brilliant. So that's the other option. Like, he's got that bit of. You're talking about like someone who could an FA Cup final moment, it feels like it's made for Diaz. This, like, it's, you're sort of announcing yourself as a Liverpool player. He's kind of done that, he has, but this could be the moment we got bloody hell. Remember when we signed Luis Diaz in January and 2 months later he was winning us the FA Cup?
The thing that also the slight shortening of midfield options does also unleash, I think what we saw at Spurs, I think we made the wrong call bringing Naby on as the last sub in that one.
Divock.
But to the point now is that you've got Divock and Bobby Firmino, who they're both more likely to be chucked into this game at some point. And I would contend that if we've been able to, I don't think Firmino's not on the bench against Spurs, but if we'd been able to bring him on, he would have been a better option in that one, and Divock would have been the better option. So there's definitely a twist or two left in Liverpool's season.
Was it 88 minutes he brings Keita on?
It was very,
against Spurs.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy late for a really small midfielder to be brought into the game for me.
Yeah,
he should have scored though, so that's the flip side.
Yeah,
just doesn't dummy one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there might be. I keep saying there might be one more Divock moment in this season. Would it shock you if we win 1-0 and it's Divock who scores? Not even. Why would you even doubt that?
Yeah, I think so. You know, just because I think he's saving himself for the Champions League final. Like, why would he do it this early, or could he do both?
He just do both.
Yeah, okay. Let's have Divock do both.
Right, we're going to take one more short break. We're going to solidify our 11s and read through any super chats and comments and a couple of the bits and pieces. But yeah, we've got an amazing competition running over on Redmen Plus. Is a little bit more info on that. Hey everyone, we have got an incredible prize to give away this month. It is the Liverpool 08-09 home shirt. Vintage, by the way, not one of those DHgate fakes. Signed by Liverpool legends Jamie Carragher and Dirk Kuyt. We are giving it away. All you've got to do to enter into that competition is to join Redmen Plus as a Club Legend tier subscriber. Yes, if you're an existing club captain, upgrade to Club Legend, or if you're just coming at it fresh, become a Club Legend, get your name in the draw, and also gain access to a wealth of Liverpool content each and every week. Pre-game, post-game, analysis, interviews, features, documentaries of a level that Netflix and Amazon would be proud of. We have got you covered from all angles as Liverpool face an historic end to the season, and not only will you be able to follow that and get closer to the culture of Liverpool Football Club, but you could also have an incredible, wonderful, amazing, unique product to hang on your wall and look back, sit back and marvel at. No one else has got this in the world apart from us, and we're going to give it to one of our Club Legend subscribers because they are awesome. Be awesome, join up, and hopefully you can be the one to win that amazing prize. Yes, get involved with our fantastic competition, an amazing competition prize each and every month for our Club Legend subscribers. We try to give away as much cool, unique and individual signed gear as we can, as well as getting all the amazing content that we do and all that. And yeah, plenty to keep you occupied in the countdown to kick off at Wembley. Right, we had a super chat come in from Liam Bergen. Says, we're the best team in the world. We just need to show it here and get a trophy haul we deserve this season. We need to stay focused and just win. Yeah, my secret sort of hope here, and it's not secret anymore because I'm saying it out loud to thousands of people on the internet, is
just pretend you're not.
To some extent, yeah, just picture everyone naked. City doing what City have done. In some regards, it should put pressure on this game. More pressure because now, well, you can't win a quad, so you want to make sure you still win a trip, blah, blah, blah. I think it does give us a little bit of breathing room to some extent today. It's like, well, look, it is the FA Cup now. It's just... we worry about Southampton on Monday, as Chris kind of mentioned plenty of times. If City happen to drop points against West Ham on Sunday, great. Well, it still means fuck all, really. So there's this game here. Just keep our heads, keep our nerves. I think we were nervous in Villarreal because I think you're halfway there, you're halfway done. To lose. Yeah, exactly. Whereas this is just a game of football.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think the players will care too much about what's going on now. They can't control that. It's a final. We did this with the League Cup. There was a lot going on around that League Cup, but we still compartmentalised. You see me say, and you just play that game. Tuesday will take care of itself. You'll worry about Tuesday on Monday. Like this, it's an FA Cup final. Like, don't worry about anything else. When you leave Liverpool at the end of your career, how many medals have you got? Because we've seen top players leave this club with very little. I agree with the suit out there. It's like, stack them now, be greedy now, because nothing's guaranteed. You're Everton's goalie away from snapping your centre half from being in a different battle next season. You strike while the iron's hot.
Look at what's happened to Man City here, Chris. Now, they're now 100% focused on this, and Chelsea are 100% focused on the FA Cup. But Chelsea basically gave up the FA Cup to focus on the Champions League, and then got knocked out the Champions League, and they've got no choice but to go for this kind of thing. Liverpool can't afford to take their eyes off this, and that's what I mean, is that Tuesday can be a bit of fun, I think, because Tuesday's effectively a bit of a goal chase. You know, that's all that's going to be. If we've got even the fractional chance, we've just got to go and fucking play some mad footy.
Paul, there's no Tuesday.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. It's Saturday in the FA Cup final. There's no Tuesday. There's no that other team whose name I'm not saying on a build-up show for the FA Cup when we're not playing them. It is about Chelsea in the FA Cup. We've got 2 massive finals left this season. There'll be lads in that squad who've grown up dreaming of lifting this trophy. Jurgen's never lifted this trophy. It's the most prestigious trophy, cup competition in the world. That's what this is about. Not about the league. No. Why would you think about that? No one's thinking about that. Yeah. They're thinking about winning this cup, and then they'll think about what on earth they're doing midweek.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What's good as well is that, again, touch wood, don't want to jinx it, like the Wembley hoodoo, that is, I felt like we had it for a while. I feel like Chelsea now are the ones who've got that, and we haven't had, again, touch wood again, like recent trips to Wembley have been much more pleasant. Chelsea are literally wearing a different kit because they're trying to reverse jinx their way out of it. They wore the yellow in the semi, so they got to the home team wearing yellow again. So that's another thing that they've got playing on them. You know, they've lost, 2 FA Cup finals, 3 of the last 5. Granted, they won one in there as well, but like they're used to being here, but they're also used to losing here as well. So that's something to consider, like mentality and stuff like that. Chris is right to reference it. Or can you just prey on those weaknesses? Oh, here we go again at Wembley. I think Mason Mount even said it, didn't he, when they beat Palace? Like, I was finally so glad to get rid of that Wembley curse that we've got. Well, let's go and put it back on them again. Yeah. Beating Crystal Palace in a semi-final isn't what, you know, it's winning finals at Wembley. That's what it's about. So we've just edged them this season. We've edged them in close games on the penalty shootouts. We've turned our Wembley fortunes around. Can we then push that onto them a little bit more?
I think both teams have got an undercurrent there that can be exploited by either. Yeah. You know, and the idea that Liverpool's season could about, you go from quad to not to effectively nothing. And again, Chelsea doing a very similar thing as well. I know they've already got the World Club Championship boxed, so that's cool for them, of course. But there is a little thing of that where Chelsea are a bit of a mess, and you want them being, you know, they're not far. They're this game. This is their season in one game of football. There's nothing else for them to look forward to.
That's the mad thing, isn't it? Liverpool have been playing knockout football for weeks now. Yeah. They haven't had that opportunity, Chelsea, and their form's gone a little bit skew because of the injuries that they've had to the players, don't get me wrong, but nothing is better than just winning games of football and having everything matter each and every time. Couple that with the fact that I just looked this up, Hendo started the last time we played Chelsea in an FA Cup final in 2012. Wow. Like, you know what I mean? When we were there, weren't we? Yeah. It was not a good day for us in the end. He'll want to put that right as well, like, you know what I mean? Yep. 10 years ago, when Steven Gerrard's in the side, I looked at Chelsea side, it was a belter. Like, they had Lampard and Drogba and Terry and Cole and everyone. Liverpool did not have that calibre of players. But Jordan Henderson did start. So, look, I can't wait for this game. It's a bit mad that it's 5:15, but I get it with the championship stuff and all that. But that should just make it better. You know, we're going to have a few extra hours in the pub. The atmosphere is going to be the same as the Carabao, if not better. Same as the semi-final, if not better. I imagine it's going to be majority Liverpool fans again, because it always is. And we're out to do something historic.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
And Klopp is the second manager to ever lead us to 4 domestic/major European Cup finals after Bob Paisley, I found out today. So obviously UEFA Cup and European Cup, League Cup and FA Cup was Bob. Europa League, Champions League, FA Cup and League Cup final he's led us in now. Yeah, again. Brilliant. It's something cool, isn't it?
There,
yeah, and this is it. You know, look, the Champions League thing is it's the one. No, that's the big sort
next
of
week it's
prize.
The one.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what this is now. It's, you know, Liverpool. This Liverpool side will worry about that because, again, to the point, we could lose the Champions League final. I want to parade. I want to parade, and they might parade the Carabao Cup at the end of the season. They might do.
Not by itself.
But Don't be like that, case they do.
I'd be shocked anyway.
But
I'd
the
be
point,
shocked as well.
but to
Although
the
a
point,
lot of people can hold the trophy together.
yeah,
with the
exactly.
animals.
Exactly.
It's good
But
for parades.
I want a parade, and the only way we're going to guarantee a parade, we can guarantee a parade on Saturday, is go and win the FA Cup and get that box, because they will.
Okay.
They'll parade the 2 trophies. Go and get that one, and then you know what? Worst case scenario is we don't win the Champions League, and we can deal with that because you can lose that in the game. But go and fucking win this box and get a little bit of something to show. Because for me, I've said it so long, it's for the fans. Like, Liverpool got to win the league, and the players got to win the league. They got to win the league for themselves. I mean, they've won the Carabao Cup for us, but that's a good start. More of that, and I want it to be a building momentum.
Am I right in saying the FA Cup hasn't had fans for 2 seasons as well?
There was 20,000 last season.
Leicester had a few in, but it wasn't full.
Crap,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, Wembley needs to be booming full. And like I say, if you're not going to win the league, I always say this, like, just pick trophies up along the way. City and Chelsea in particular have been really good at this. You just keep ticking over with trophies, because winning breeds winning. Like, getting to finals and winning finals, like, there's something to that. You just keep that momentum going. Like, it'd be so disappointing. I think it's going to be a close game, and I do think we'll win. It's just like you referenced before, like, and the super chat was right, like, don't rest on your laurels. Like, nothing's guaranteed. Yeah, you were in a quad hunt till what? Mid-May you're still in one technically.
Yeah,
nothing's back.
What I'm saying here is, and what we're all kind of saying is, fuck quad talk, fuck treble talk.
Win the FA Cup.
Let's win a double. Let's go and win the fucking cup double, and then anything else will come beyond that. And let's be fucking.
We'll all dream about Helsinki against Rangers. That's fine, but there's going to be time to dream about Rangers in Helsinki.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. I've got N Brown here, who's a member for 10 months, saying there's some season this historic treble on the way, and it might well be, but we're not there yet. That fucking Champions League final might as well be in another season. This is it. This is the be all and end all now. If we were to win the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup in a season, and I get to go and be in a crowd of thousands of people around the docks and all that celebrating, and go and celebrate this team properly, I will be made up with that.
Yeah, because you're not just celebrating the double, you're celebrating the league with them from a couple of years ago in a mad way, because we never have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're playing. That's what we're playing for.
We owe these one as well. From the last time we could have won the domestic double, it was you referenced that game. They're the ones who stopped us. So we owe them.
Just briefly touch upon the other action happening this weekend. All the Premier League stuff is on Sunday this week. Tottenham, Burnley, Wolves, Norwich, West Ham hosting Man City, which we of course will pay no attention to. Be nice to although it would be nice to be able to watch that for 15 minutes, knowing that Liverpool have won an FA Cup. Watford, Leicester, Leeds, Brighton, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, the Ev versus Brentford. It's probably the best time ever to play Brentford, because they could not have less to play for at this point in the season. They bottled it big time in midweek against Watford, not beating them. Stay any hope for Brentford in this one?
Yeah, of course there is. Having a crap. Like, of course. It's.
You've got the best fans in the world, though, haven't they?
They are, honestly.
The cop-out behaviours winning games is working
it's
for
the
them.
ones with the 7,000. We talked about the allocations, like 3.5 lads for a start, so there probably wasn't 7,000 of you there. And best fans in the world and all this. It's like, and then people are just retweeting the videos of them booing them 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. I mean, it's hilarious.
Everton are going to stay up. Everton are going to stay up because Leeds are dog shit.
Yeah.
That's why Everton. It's nothing to do with Everton, really.
Yeah.
If they'd beat Watford, that they probably would have been job done. But the flip side of what you're saying there about Brentford being on the beach is that Brentford just play. Like they're not going to feel nerves and pressure and all that kind of stuff.
We said this about Gerrard in the week. Is there's a bunch of managers who actually could do with currying a little bit of favour with the fan bases of just ending the season on a high.
All of them.
Yeah, there's loads of them. I think there's a couple who would be like, oh well, I'm safe. I'll be sad. Like for example, like if Newcastle don't win another game for the rest of the season, I don't think it makes Eddie Howe's job more or less secure. They're either going to go and get someone else in, or they're going to.
I think Thomas Frank might be the same. Actually, you're playing with a freedom. So yeah, again, I imagine. I thought he'd beat Watford. They should win at home. The home form is what's going to keep them up. Yeah, it's just a shame that Leeds is so bad.
I've got a feeling it's going to go down to the last day of the season for those three sides.
Yeah.
And that something mad is going to happen on the last day of the season.
Gareth Farrelly style moments, pitch invasions and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they can't be at Goodison because, of course, they're away last game of the season.
Yeah, but Arsenal away, where that's Could be, I mean, you say that, but they could be Arsenal could already be bad time this could. Who knows how they've gone? So I suppose if you're looking at how do everything get relegated, Tottenham beat Arsenal this evening, and then they've got to go to their having been through all that. Yeah, there's a lot to play for.
One final super chat before we have score predictions. Leon Geary with €3 says, remember Southampton like losing 9-0, hashtag still dream. Yeah, absolutely. That is very much going to be our speech for the build-up show for Southampton. Rest assured.
Liverpool have got no bad history when they've gone to games chasing goal difference. That's the
I'm genuinely here all day. I could like be this like whole conceding the title stuff. Nah, look, not for me.
12-0.
Honestly, I am desperate.
Did you see League 2 last week?
Yeah.
Bristol City,
Joey Barton can do it. Like, I'm genuinely desperate for us to get to the last game of the season. I just want this to happen where we need to win 15-0 and just having that. You know what I mean? Just do it. You know, and we win 1-0, and it's goes attack.
Yeah, there's a 14 goal difference, and we're 8 up against Wolves, and we're like, can Villa get 6? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Steven Gerrard
lads in the fucking car like that.
Steven Gerrard gets sent off to add a couple of minutes of injury time onto the game again. People never reference that with the QPR City game. Is Joey Barton blatantly gets deliberately sent off to add more time on to the end of that. People too busy worrying about Aguero and Balotelli and all that. Joey Barton was the unsung hero, the real hero that day.
Do you know, there's one more topic that we've not spoken about. The VAR for this game is Paul Tierney.
Yeah, what a fucking gobshite.
That's a bit gutting, that,
to the point of he's incredibly inept, so Liverpool are going to have to. I don't think it really affects the offside thing because it's pretty binary. But if Liverpool are going to do this, we're just going to have to.
I didn't record. Yeah. Just go with the decision on the field.
Yeah.
What do you mean it didn't record?
My monitor went off.
Only 30 days, mate, and then it goes off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my power cable got a bit frayed, and it just glitched out. Like,
what's that in your hand? Nothing. It's fine.
I was too busy wanking over dogs. That's what you'd be saying. I hate him. What?
This has got a bit Keith Laird here. Like,
can I not say that on the internet?
Well, of course you can say it.
I mean, okay. He might be a big dog fan.
He definitely is.
On that bombshell. Score prediction, Chris Pager.
I'm going to go that it is 2-1 to Liverpool after extra time.
Okay.
1-1 in 90.
1-1, we win on pens.
I think it will be 2-2 and Liverpool will win on penalties. Ugh.
Yeah. Don't know, you get your money's worth out of them extortionate Wembley tickets though, eh?
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Somebody to leave about fucking 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Leave us your score predictions. Don't forget to check out the Starting 11 prediction show as well. And yeah, if you want to get more and get closer to the game, do check out Redmen Plus. And also don't forget that Jurgen Klopp's pre-match press conference will be available on our podcasting services for free and YouTube for free as well. So yeah, don't bother checking it out anywhere else. Come and check it with us. And yeah, as I say, if you want to also get a bit closer to the game in the build-up, get a bit of a cultural feel. It's been 30 years since we won against Sunderland at Wembley in the FA Cup, and I chatted to Michael Thomas. His stories are fascinating stuff, and they are streaming exclusively over on Redmen Plus. Really, really good stuff indeed. Right, gentlemen, thank you so much. History, legendary status, steps lie ahead for Liverpool Football Club and for Liverpool fans. If you're going to Wembley, have a boss one. If you're watching it elsewhere, then don't forget to check out all of our live coverage on the day on YouTube, and yeah, we'll see you there. Ta-da.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want even more Redmen TV goodness in your lives, head on over to redmenplus.com right away. You'll get more in-depth analysis, more features, more documentaries, more interviews, basically more Liverpool goodness. It's like Netflix for Reds. You will love it. We love it. Head on over to redmenplus.com and sign up for Redmen Plus.